First contact and cultural shock. Sarah Chen stood at the entrance of the Galactic Academy of Advanced Sciences, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The iridescent, spiral structure before her seemed to defy the laws of physics, its impossibly tall spires reaching towards the crimson sky of Nexus Prime, the neutral planet chosen as the seat of intergalactic learning. As a human, Sarah was used to being the odd one out. Growing up in the bustling megacity of New Shanghai on Earth, she had always been fascinated by the concept of alien life. But nothing could have prepared her for the sheer diversity of species now surrounding her. Creatures of all shapes, sizes, and compositions milled about the Academy grounds, some floating, others slithering, and a few that seemed to phase in and out of existence. "Stop gawking, Earthling," came a gurgling voice from behind her. Sarah turned to see a gelatinous being, its translucent body rippling with bioluminescent patterns. "You're blocking the path." "Oh, sorry." Sarah quickly stepped aside, her cheeks flushing. "I'm Sarah Chen. It's my first day." The alien's body pulsed in what Sarah hoped was a friendly manner. "Greetings, Sarah Chen of Earth. I am Zix 427, third phase evolution of the Lumina Collective. Welcome to the Academy." As they made their way towards the orientation hall, Sarah couldn't help but notice the curious glances, or whatever passed for glances among the various species, directed her way. She heard whispers in languages her universal translator couldn't quite catch. But the tone was clear: surprise, skepticism, and more than a little fear. The orientation hall was a vast amphitheater that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. As Sarah took her seat, she realized the chair had morphed to perfectly accommodate her human physiology. Looking around, she saw each alien comfortably situated in a seat uniquely adapted to their form. A holographic image flickered to life at the center of the amphitheater, coalescing into the form of a tall, willowy being with silver skin and eyes that looked like swirling galaxies. "Greetings, new students of the Galactic Academy. I am Archdean Xylos. We are honored to welcome representatives from 1,247 species this orbital cycle, including, for the first time in our history, a human from the planet Earth." All eyes, or sensory organs, turned towards Sarah, who fought the urge to sink into her seat. Xylos continued, "The human species has only recently achieved faster-than-light travel, and their inclusion in our academy is part of the Galactic Council's initiative to integrate emerging civilizations." Sarah could hear the murmurs rippling through the crowd. A tentacled being to her left leaned over and whispered, "Is it true that humans still live on the surface of their planet, exposed to the elements?" Before Sarah could respond, a crystalline entity chimed in. "I heard they breathe corrosive gases and drink dihydrogen monoxide to survive." "Please," Xylos's voice cut through the chatter, "let us remember the Academy's principles of mutual respect and understanding. Each species here has evolved to thrive in their unique environments. Our differences are what make our galactic community strong." As the orientation proceeded, Sarah learned about the various courses offered at the Academy. There was quantum entanglement communication, psychic energy manipulation, and even a class on ethical time dilation. But it was the announcement of the Galactic Survival course that caught her attention. "This course," Xylos explained, "is designed to push the limits of each species' adaptability. Students will face challenges replicating some of the harshest environments known in the universe. It is not for the faint of heart." Sarah felt a surge of excitement. Growing up on Earth, with its diverse and often extreme environments, had made humans uniquely adaptable. This could be her chance to prove that humanity belonged among the stars. As the orientation concluded, students began to file out of the amphitheater. Sarah overheard snippets of conversation. "Did you see the human? No exoskeleton, no energy field. How do they survive? I heard their planet has areas of extreme cold and extreme heat, and they live in both. Apparently, they only have one brain. How primitive." Sarah sighed. It was going to be a long semester. As she made her way to her assigned living quarters, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. Turning a corner, she nearly collided with a towering insectoid being. "Apologies, human." The being clicked, its mandibles twitching. "I am Professor Kesk, head of xenobiology. I was hoping to speak with you." "Of course, Professor," Sarah replied, trying to mask her nervousness. Kesk's compound eyes seemed to study every inch of her. "I must admit, I was skeptical when the council approved a human for admission. Your species is remarkably unspecialized. No natural armor, no enhanced senses, no innate psychic abilities. Tell me, how do you compensate for these deficiencies?" Sarah bristled at the implied insult, but kept her cool. "With all due respect, Professor, what you call deficiencies, we see as versatility. Humans may not have natural armor, but we've learned to adapt to environments ranging from Arctic tundras to scorching deserts. We may not have enhanced senses, but we've developed technology to extend our perception far beyond our biological limits." Kesk's antennae twitched, a gesture Sarah couldn't quite interpret. "Interesting perspective. I look forward to seeing how you fare in our courses, especially the Galactic Survival course. It has been known to challenge even the most resilient species." As Kesk skittered away, Sarah couldn't help but feel a mix of determination and doubt. She was representing not just herself, but all of humanity. The pressure was immense, but so was the opportunity. Reaching her quarters, Sarah was relieved to find the room adapted to human needs, complete with a bed, bathroom facilities, and even a small kitchen area. As she began to unpack, her comm device chimed with a message. "Welcome, Sarah Chen. Your first class, Introduction to Multidimensional Physics, begins tomorrow at the first chime of the celestial resonator. Please be punctual, as temporal fluctuations may occur during the lecture. Office of Academic Affairs." Sarah took a deep breath, looking out her window at the alien landscape of Nexus Prime. The twin moons were rising, casting an ethereal glow over the Academy grounds. She thought of Earth, so far away, and all the people counting on her to succeed. "Well," she muttered to herself, a smile playing on her lips, "they wanted to see what humans are capable of. I guess it's time to show them." As she prepared for bed, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that her adventure was just beginning. Little did she know, her presence at the Academy was about to challenge everything the galactic community thought they knew about the potential of sentient beings. The stage was set for a clash of cultures, a test of adaptability, and a journey that would redefine the very concept of what it means to be human in a vast, uncaring universe. The impossible challenge. Weeks had passed since Sarah's arrival at the Galactic Academy, and she was slowly adjusting to life among the stars. The initial shock of being surrounded by aliens had worn off, replaced by a growing fascination with the diversity of life forms and cultures she encountered daily. Her classes were challenging, to say the least. Multidimensional physics gave her migraines for the first few days, until she realized she needed to think beyond the constraints of three-dimensional space. Xenobiology was a constant reminder of how little humans knew about the universe, with each lecture introducing her to life forms that defied her understanding of biology. But it was the upcoming Galactic Survival course that occupied Sarah's thoughts as she made her way to the Academy's central atrium. The course was notorious among the student body, spoken of in hushed tones and with a mix of fear and reverence. As she entered the atrium, a hush fell over the gathered students. At the center stood Professor Kesk, his insectoid form towering over most of the assembled beings. Next to him was a shimmering holographic display of what looked like a star system. "Welcome, students." Kesk's voice reverberated through the atrium. "Today marks the beginning of the Galactic Survival course. This is not merely a test of your physical endurance, but of your species' very adaptability to the harsh realities of our universe." Sarah felt a ripple of nervous energy pass through the crowd. She stood straighter, determined not to show any weakness. Kesk continued, his compound eyes scanning the audience. "You will face 5 challenges, each designed to push you to your absolute limits. These challenges simulate environments found in the most extreme corners of our galaxy. Many of you will fail. Some may choose to withdraw. But those who persevere will gain not just academic credit, but the respect of the entire galactic community. The holographic display zoomed in on a planet that looked like it was made entirely of ice. Your first challenge. Survival on Glacius Prime, a planet locked in an eternal ice age. Temperatures regularly plummet to levels that would freeze most known gases. Your task is simple. Survive for 24 standard hours and reach the extraction point. Sarah heard gasps and murmurs around her. A crystalline being to her right was vibrating in what she assumed was excitement, while a gaseous entity nearby seemed to be condensing in fear. The impossible challenge. Weeks had passed since Sarah's arrival at the Galactic Academy, and she was slowly adjusting to life among the stars. The initial shock of being surrounded by aliens had worn off, replaced by a growing fascination with the diversity of life forms and cultures she encountered daily. Her classes were challenging, to say the least. Multidimensional physics gave her migraines for the first few days until she realized she needed to think beyond the constraints of three-dimensional space. Xenobiology was a constant reminder of how little humans knew about the universe, with each lecture introducing her to life forms that defied her understanding of biology. But it was the upcoming Galactic Survival course that occupied Sarah's thoughts as she made her way to the Academy's central atrium. The course was notorious among the student body, spoken of in hushed tones and with a mix of fear and reverence. As she entered the atrium, a hush fell over the gathered students. At the center stood Professor Kesk, his insectoid form towering over most of the assembled beings. Next to him was a shimmering holographic display of what looked like a star system. "Welcome, students," Kesk's voice reverberated through the atrium. "Today marks the beginning of the Galactic Survival course. This is not merely a test of your physical endurance, but of your species' very adaptability to the harsh realities of our universe." Sarah felt a ripple of nervous energy pass through the crowd. She stood straighter, determined not to show any weakness. Kesk continued, his compound eyes scanning the audience. "You will face 5 challenges, each designed to push you to your absolute limits. These challenges simulate environments found in the most extreme corners of our galaxy. Many of you will fail. Some may choose to withdraw. But those who persevere will gain not just academic credit, but the respect of the entire galactic community." The holographic display zoomed in on a planet that looked like it was made entirely of ice. Your first challenge. Survival on Glacius Prime, a planet locked in an eternal ice age. Temperatures regularly plummet to levels that would freeze most known gases. Your task is simple. Survive for 24 standard hours and reach the extraction point. Sarah heard gasps and murmurs around her. A crystalline being to her right was vibrating in what she assumed was excitement, while a gaseous entity nearby seemed to be condensing in fear. "You will each be provided with basic survival gear adapted to your species' needs," Kesk explained. "Use of personal technology is prohibited. This is a test of your innate abilities and problem-solving skills." As the students were led to the preparation area, Sarah found herself next to Zix 427. The gelatinous being she had met on her first day. Nervous Earthling. Zix 427 pulsed, its bioluminescent patterns flickering rapidly. Sarah managed to smile. "A little, but humans are pretty good at adapting to extreme cold. What about you? Will you be okay in those temperatures?" Professor Kesk approached, his compound eyes fixed on Sarah. "Impressive, human. Not only did you survive, but you ensured the survival of many of your classmates. Perhaps we underestimated your species' potential." Sarah, too tired to feel smug, simply nodded. "Humans have a long history of not just surviving, but thriving in adverse conditions, Professor. It's kind of our thing." As medical teams attended to the students and excited chatter filled the atrium, Sarah couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. This was just the first challenge, and she knew the road ahead would be difficult. But she had proven, both to herself and to the galactic community that humanity was ready for whatever the universe might throw at them. Little did Sarah know, her performance on Glacius Prime was about to unraveling human potential. The news of Sarah Chen's performance on Glacius Prime spread through the Galactic Academy like wildfire. Whispers followed her through the holographic corridors, a mix of awe and disbelief coloring the conversations of her alien peers. Sarah, for her part, tried to maintain a low profile, focusing on her studies and preparing for the next challenge. It was during a rare moment of downtime in the Academy's biodome that Sarah found herself surrounded by a group of curious classmates. The biodome was a marvel of xenobotany, featuring plant life from thousands of worlds. Sarah sat on a bench made of living wood, its surface shifting slightly to provide optimal comfort. Zix 427 pulsed nearby, its gelatinous form refracting the artificial sunlight. Sarah Chen of Earth, many of us are curious. How did your species develop such adaptability? Sarah looked around at the expectant faces and other sensory appendages of her classmates. She took a deep breath, realizing this was an opportunity to bridge the gap of understanding between humans and the galactic community. Well, she began, Earth is a planet of extremes. We have scorching deserts and frozen tundras, dense jungles and barren mountaintops. Over millions of years, humans learned to survive and thrive in all these environments. A crystalline being chimed in, its facets glittering with curiosity. But surely your biology limits you. We've analyzed your physiology. You lack natural defenses. Your senses are rudimentary at best. Sarah couldn't help but smile. That's just it. Our limitation is our greatest strength. Because we don't have specialized adaptations, we've had to become adaptable to everything. We use our intelligence to overcome biological constraints. She stood up, warming to her subject. Let me give you an example. Thousands of years ago, humans lived primarily in temperate regions, but we had a drive to explore, to push boundaries. We developed tools and techniques to survive in the harshest environments on our planet. Sarah's mind drifted back to her training days on Earth, preparing for this very mission to the stars. Flashback. Mount Everest Base Camp, Earth, 2 years earlier. Sarah gasped for air, her lungs burning in the thin atmosphere of the world's highest mountain. Her instructor, a weathered Sherpa named Pemba, watched her with a mix of concern and approval. Remember, Sarah, Pemba said, his voice calm despite the howling wind. The mountain does not care about your ambitions. It is indifferent to your survival. You must adapt to its rules, not the other way around. Sarah nodded, adjusting her oxygen mask. The weight of her pack seemed to double with each step, but she pressed on. This was just one of many extreme environment trainings she had undergone in preparation for her journey to the Galactic Academy. As they reached a particularly treacherous section of the climb, Sarah's foot slipped on a patch of ice. For a heart-stopping moment, she teetered on the edge of a massive drop. But her training kicked in. She drove her ice axe into the frozen surface, arresting her fall. Pemba helped her back to stable ground, a rare smile crossing his face. Good. You're learning. Humans are not born to this environment, but we can adapt. We can survive. This is what you must show the galaxy. Back in the present, Sarah continued her explanation to her rapt alien audience. We've climbed the highest mountains, dived to the deepest ocean trenches, and even left our planet to walk on our moon. Each time we faced a new challenge, we adapted. A tentacled being waved an appendage. But surely there are environments no human could survive. Sarah nodded. Of course, there are plenty of places on Earth that would kill an unprotected human in minutes, but that's where our technology comes in. We've developed suits to explore the crushing depths of our oceans, shields to protect us from radiation in space. We use our intelligence to extend our adaptability beyond our biological limits. The crystalline being chimed again, its tone somewhat skeptical. Yet in the Glacius Prime challenge, you were limited to basic survival gear. How do you explain your success there? Sarah thought for a moment. It's not just about physical adaptation. Humans have a unique ability to improvise, to think creatively under pressure. On Glacius Prime, I drew on knowledge from Earth's polar explorers, Arctic indigenous peoples, and even some creative problem-solving. She grinned, remembering a particular moment during the challenge. Did you know I used a technique developed by ancient Earth hunters to create a makeshift heater? By burning animal fat in a specific way, we were able to generate enough heat to keep several of our more temperature-sensitive classmates alive. The alien students murmured in amazement. Zix-427 pulsed rapidly, its bioluminescent patterns forming complex shapes. This, creativity. It is not something easily quantified or predicted. Is this common among all humans? Sarah shrugged. To varying degrees, yes. It's part of our survival instinct. When faced with a problem, humans have an almost compulsive need to solve it. It's driven our technological progress, our art, our entire civilization. A shadow fell over the group. They looked up to see Professor Kisk looming over them, his compound eyes unreadable. An interesting perspective, Ms. Chen. The professor clicked. But I wonder if you're not overstating your species' capabilities. After all, the challenges of the Galactic survival course are designed to test the limits of even the most advanced civilizations. Sarah met the professor's gaze steadily. With all due respect, Professor, I think you'll find that humans have a habit of surpassing expectations. We may be new to the galactic stage, but we've been overcoming impossible odds for our entire history. Kesk's mandibles twitched in what might have been amusement or annoyance. Bold words. I look forward to seeing how you fare in the next challenge. It will test more than just your physical adaptability. As the professor skittered away, Sarah felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness. She had made quite a claim about humanity's potential. Now she would have to back it up. The alien students around her buzzed with excitement. The story of Earth's diverse environments and humanity's drive to explore had captured their imagination. For the first time, many of them were seeing humans not as primitive newcomers, but as a species with unique and valuable traits. Zix-427 oozed closer to Sarah. Your world sounds fascinating and terrifying. Do all humans share this drive to push boundaries? Sarah smiled, thinking of the long history of human exploration and innovation. Not all to the same degree, but it's a fundamental part of who we are. We're curious by nature. We see a mountain, we want to climb it. We see an ocean, we want to cross it. We look at the stars, and you want to reach them. Zix-427 finished, its body shimmering with understanding. As the group dispersed, Sarah remained in the biodome, her mind racing with thoughts of Earth and the journey that had brought her here. She knew the next challenge would be even more difficult, but she felt a renewed sense of purpose. She wasn't just representing herself anymore. She was carrying the spirit of every human explorer, every innovator, every dreamer who had ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what was out there. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, but so was the human spirit. And Sarah Chen was determined to show the universe just what humanity was capable of. The final test. The anticipation in the air was palpable as the remaining students of the Galactic survival course gathered in the Academy's main auditorium. The previous challenges had whittled down their numbers significantly, with many choosing to withdraw rather than face the increasingly difficult tests. Sarah Chen stood among them, her face set in determined concentration. Professor Katsk materialized on the central platform, his insectoid form seeming to flicker slightly before stabilizing. Congratulations to those who have made it this far, he began, his mandibles clicking rhythmically. You have proven yourselves adaptable, resourceful, and resilient. But the final challenge that awaits you is unlike anything you have faced before. A holographic display sprang to life behind him, showing a swirling mass of energy and matter. This, Kesk continued, is a simulation of the event horizon of a supermassive black hole. Your task is to navigate through the accretion disk, Retrieve a data core from a derelict ship caught in its gravitational pull and return safely. You will have access to a small craft equipped with basic shielding and propulsion systems. A collective gasp rippled through the audience. Even for advanced spacefaring civilizations, black holes represented one of the most dangerous and least understood phenomena in the universe. Sarah felt her heart racing. This wasn't just a test of survival skills or adaptability. It was a challenge that pushed the boundaries of physics itself. Zix 427, pulsing nervously beside her, whispered, "This is unprecedented. No student has ever been asked to approach a black hole simulation of this magnitude." Sarah nodded, her mind already racing through the implications. "It's not just about surviving the gravitational forces," she mused. "We'll have to contend with time dilation, radiation, and who knows what else." As the students were led to the simulation chambers, Sarah found herself face to face with Professor Kesk. The insectoid's compound eyes seemed to study her intently. "Ms. Chen," he clicked, "I must admit, your performance so far has been unexpected. But this challenge will test more than just your species' adaptability. It will require an understanding of cosmic phenomena that, frankly, I'm not certain humanity has achieved." Sarah met his gaze steadily. "With all due respect, Professor, humanity's greatest achievements have often come from facing the unknown. We may not have encountered actual black holes yet, but we've been theorizing about them and preparing for them for centuries." Kesk's antennae twitched in what might have been skepticism. "We shall see. Remember, in this simulation, perception is everything. What you believe to be true about the nature of space and time may very well become your reality." With those cryptic words, he ushered Sarah into her simulation pod. As the hatch sealed shut, Sarah took a deep breath, centering herself. She thought back to her training on Earth, to all the simulations and theoretical exercises she had undergone. But more than that, she thought about the spirit of human exploration that had brought her to this point. The pod hummed to life, and suddenly Sarah found herself at the controls of a small spacecraft. Through the view screen, she could see the awe-inspiring sight of the accretion disk, a swirling maelstrom of superheated matter orbiting the invisible maw of the black hole. Warning klaxons blared as the ship's sensors detected the immense gravitational forces at play. Sarah's hands flew over the controls, making minute adjustments to keep the craft stable. She could feel the pull of the black hole, not just on the ship, but on her very perception of reality. As she navigated deeper into the accretion disk, strange phenomena began to manifest. Light bent in impossible ways, and Sarah could swear she saw echoes of her own ship, perhaps glimpses of alternate timelines or the effects of extreme time dilation. Sweat beaded on her brow as she fought against the increasing gravitational pull. The derelict ship came into view, a twisted husk of metal caught in the black hole's relentless grip. Sarah had to time her approach perfectly, using the gravitation forces to slingshot her craft closer while avoiding being pulled in herself. Just as she was about to reach the data core, a massive solar flare erupted from the accretion disk, bathing the area in deadly radiation. The ship's shields began to fail, and alarms screamed for immediate retreat. But Sarah had come too far to give up now. In a move that would have been suicidal in real life, she cut the ship's power, allowing the gravitational forces to pull her closer to the derelict. As her craft tumbled through space, she calculated the perfect moment to fire her thrusters, using the momentum to guide her ship into a docking position. With seconds to spare before her own ship's structural integrity failed, Sarah managed to retrieve the data core. But now she faced an even greater challenge: escaping the black hole's grasp. The ship's computer blared a warning. Gravitational forces exceeding safety parameters. Structural failure imminent. Sarah's mind raced. She remembered an old theory from Earth, a controversial idea about using the extreme conditions near a black hole to achieve faster-than-light travel. It was risky, untested, and probably impossible. But in this simulation, where perception could alter reality, it just might work. Sometimes, Sarah muttered to herself, "You have to make the impossible possible." She aimed her ship directly at the event horizon, pushing the engines beyond their limits. The fabric of space-time seemed to stretch and distort around her. For a moment, Sarah felt as if she was everywhere and nowhere at once. Her consciousness expanded beyond the confines of normal space-time. And then, with a reality-bending lurch, her ship shot out of the black hole's influence, riding a wave of warped space-time that catapulted her back to safety. The simulation ended, and Sarah found herself back in the pod, gasping for breath and drenched in sweat. As the hatch opened, she saw Professor Kesk standing there, his mandibles agape in what she could only assume was shock. "Impossible," he chittered. You used the black hole itself to escape its pull. How did you even conceive of such a maneuver?" Sarah, still shaky from the experience, managed a weak smile. "Sometimes, Professor, the only way out is through. Humans have a saying, 'Necessity is the mother of invention.' When faced with impossible odds, we innovate." As news of Sarah's unprecedented success spread through the academy, she realized that she had done more than just pass a test. She had shattered preconceptions about human capabilities and pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. The final challenge had proven that humanity's greatest strength wasn't just adaptability or resilience. It was the ability to imagine the impossible and then make it a reality. As Sarah stood there, surrounded by awestruck alien students and bewildered faculty, she knew that the true test was just beginning. Humanity had announced its presence on the galactic stage in a way that could not be ignored. The universe, it seemed, would never be the same again. Paradigm shift. The Great Hall of the Galactic Academy buzzed with an energy unlike anything seen in its millennia-long history. Representatives from every major species in the known universe had gathered for what was being hailed as a momentous occasion. At the center of it all stood Sarah Chen, the human who had defied all expectations and reshaped the galaxy's understanding of what was possible. Archdean Xylos stepped forward, his silvery form shimmering with barely contained excitement. "Esteemed colleagues, students, and honored guests," he began, his voice resonating through the hall. "We stand at the precipice of a new era in galactic understanding. The achievements of Sarah Chen of Earth have not only shattered records, but have fundamentally challenged our preconceptions about the nature of intelligence and adaptability in the cosmos." Sarah stood tall, feeling the weight of countless alien gazes upon her. She thought back to her first day at the academy, how overwhelmed and out of place she had felt. Now she stood as a bridge between humanity and the vast, diverse tapestry of galactic civilization. Professor Kesk, his earlier skepticism replaced by a grudging respect, stepped forward. Ms. Chen's performance in the Galactic Survival course was unprecedented, but it is not merely her survival skills that have astounded us. It is the innovative thinking, the ability to perceive solutions where none seem to exist, that truly sets her, and by extension, humanity, apart. A holographic display sprang to life, showcasing Sarah's journey through the various challenges. The ice world of Glacius Prime, where she had turned survival into a collaborative effort. The mind-bending puzzles of the quantum labyrinth, where her lateral thinking had found paths others couldn't perceive. And finally, the black hole simulation, where she had turned certain doom into a triumphant escape. In the face of the universe's most extreme conditions, Kesk continued, his mandibles clicking in excitement. Sarah Chen didn't just survive. She thrived. She innovated. She showed us possibilities we hadn't even considered. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the audience. Sarah could see the change in their eyes, or equivalent sensory organs. Where once there had been skepticism, or even dismissal of humanity as a primitive species, now there was curiosity, respect, and even a hint of awe. Archdean Xylos raised his arms, calling for silence. In light of these extraordinary events, the Galactic Council has made an unprecedented decision. Humanity is to be granted full membership in the Galactic Federation, effective immediately. Furthermore, we will be establishing a new department at the Academy, the Center for Human Ingenuity and Adaptive Thinking. The announcement was met with a thunderous applause, or the various species equivalents thereof. Sarah felt a swell of pride, not just for herself, but for all of humanity. They had dreamed of this moment for centuries, of taking their place among the stars. As the ceremony concluded, Sarah found herself surrounded by a diverse group of alien students and faculty, all eager to speak with her. Questions flew from all directions. How does human education foster such creative problem-solving? Is it true that humans intentionally seek out challenges for fun? Can you teach us this lateral thinking you employed in the quantum labyrinth? Sarah laughed, holding up her hands. One at a time, please. There's so much we can learn from each other. Humanity's journey has only just begun. As the crowd dispersed, Sarah found a quiet moment to reflect. She gazed out of a vast window, taking in the breathtaking view of Nexus Prime's twin moons rising over the horizon. Her thoughts drifted to Earth, so far away yet now irrevocably connected to this vast galactic community. Zix-427 oozed up beside her, its gelatinous form pulsing with warm colors. Sarah Chen of Earth, it burbled, you have done more than just pass a series of tests. You have opened the eyes of the galaxy to new possibilities. Tell me, how does it feel? Sarah smiled, her eyes still fixed on the alien sky. Honestly, it feels like standing on the shore of a vast ocean, knowing there's so much more to explore. Humanity has dreamed of this moment for so long, but the reality, it's beyond anything we could have imagined. She turned to face her friend. But it's not just about humanity. What we've learned here, what we've achieved, it's shown that there's still so much untapped potential in the universe. Every species has something unique to offer. Together, we can push the boundaries of what's possible even further. Zix-427 rippled in agreement. Indeed, your presence here has reminded many of us why we ventured into space in the first place. The thrill of discovery, the joy of overcoming challenges, these are not unique to humans, but you embody them in a way that has reignited that spark in many of us. As they stood there, contemplating the future, a commotion near the hall's entrance caught their attention. A group of excited students were clustered around a newly installed terminal. Sarah, one of them called out, "You must see this." Curious, Sarah made her way over. The terminal displayed a live feed from Earth. Crowds had gathered in every major city, cheering and celebrating. The news of humanity's acceptance into the Galactic Federation had reached home, and the response was jubilant. Sarah felt a lump in her throat as she watched families embrace, strangers high-five each other, and children gaze up at the sky with wonder in their eyes. This wasn't just a personal triumph or even a national one. It was a moment of unity for all of humanity. As she watched, a notification pinged on the terminal. It was a message from the United Earth Council. Sarah Chen, your achievements have opened a new chapter in human history. You have shown the galaxy not just what one individual can do, but what humanity as a whole is capable of. As we step into this new era of galactic cooperation, we do so with pride, humility, and an unwavering spirit of exploration. The stars are no longer the limit. They are our new frontier. Sarah stood there, surrounded by her alien friends and colleagues, watching the celebrations on Earth. She realized that this was more than just a personal journey or even a test of human capabilities. It was the beginning of a new age of cooperation, innovation, and discovery. The challenges they had faced in the Academy were just the beginning. The true test lay ahead, forging a future where humans and aliens could work together, learn from each other, and push the boundaries of what was possible. As the twin moons of Nexus Prime cast their ethereal glow over the Academy, Sarah Chen smiled. The universe was vast, full of wonders and dangers beyond imagination. But with human ingenuity, alien wisdom, and a shared spirit of exploration, there was no challenge they couldn't overcome. The journey of humanity among the stars had only just begun, and the possibilities were as limitless as the cosmos itself.